better, I feel better. So much better. Since I laid down my burdens down. Man. The church say amen. Amen. Amen again. Amen. Amen one more time. Amen. One time for the Father, one time for the Son, one time for the Holy Ghost. Amen. It's a privilege to be able to stand up here in the house of the Lord and preach the word one more time. Amen. I got the call Tuesday, I think. I was down in Miami, and my dad called me and said, well, Reverend Carter wanted to know if you want to preach. I said, yeah, but I wasn't thinking. I said, it's Mother's Day. So I had mixed emotions. I said, well, y'all do it, no doubt in mind, but I said, I don't know how I'll be able to do it, being that I just lost a mother not even been in 2 years. So I just asked y'all to bear with me. You know, if I might get emotional, I might have to stop. But all I know is God's going to show me the way.
Amen. Come on, dog.
When getting this sermon together over the past few days, I had to come to realize that no matter how much I say about a good mother, that it still does not do them fully justice. I cannot tell you anything new about a good mother, as we have good mothers in our congregation. But I can give you a gentle reminder that sometimes we can take them for granted because we are accustomed to them being so good. Many of us, brothers and sisters, currently have or have had good mothers or good mother figures who, although not perfect, they love us enough to help us become who we are today. This morning, as you listen to the message, if you have or have had a good mother or a mother figure that cared enough about you to help you be who you are today, you should bless them and give God the praise. Amen. You should tell them hallelujah for a woman who influenced your life. This morning, I have two stories of two women in the Bible.
Well,
I'm not going to keep you long. I know y'all won't like hear me say that, but I'm not going to keep y'all long. I have two stories. I have two stories to make it all come together. If you don't mind, turn to me to Genesis 16. We'll be reading Genesis chapter 16, first through the 6th verse. That's Genesis chapter 16, first through the 16th verse. I'll get out of this jacket already. That's everyone. Once you find it, please stand for the reading of God's word.
16 and what?
Chapter 16, we'll be reading 1 through the 6th verse. If you want to, you're more welcome to read along with me. In Genesis 16, chapter 1 reads, Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian. After Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. Let's pray. Father God, it's preaching time, Father God. Father God, I ask you, Lord, just to hide me behind the cross. Let them see none of me, but hear all of you. Father God, I ask you, Lord, just let the Holy Spirit come and fill this place. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, I do pray. Amen. Amen. From the scriptures I read on this first mother, you have something to talk about. It would be, if you have or have had a good mother who, I'll let you fill in the blanks. If you have or have had a good mother who, I'll let you fill in the blanks.
That's all right.
You see, brothers and sisters, Hagar was a servant / slave of Sarai, who we know became Sarah, who was Abram's wife, who we know became Abraham. I said that because as I go through this story, I'll be using Sarah and Abraham, so I don't want y'all to think that I'm not on the right course. Hagar served Sarah faithfully. So faithful was she that when Sarah could not have children, she gave Hagar to Abraham to bear a child for her. In this transaction, Hagar became Abraham's concubine, which carried more importance than just being a slave or a servant. You see, a concubine was a female slave designated for bearing children. They did have a certain status above the normal slaves, though. Some were listed among family members and sons of concubines, could also be equals in inheritance and succession, and thus a threat to the sons of wives. Although they may have had other responsibilities, their primary job was to bear children of the man they were given to. We need to understand that Hagar was a slave and had no choice in the matter. When Sarah offered her to her husband, Hagar did not have the right to say no. She had to obey. She allowed herself to become the second wife of Abraham to bear children to him on behalf of Sarah. Can you imagine how she felt? This was the custom of the time, but she was still a woman serving as a surrogate for someone else without a choice. See, now the Bible tells us that when Hagar found out that she was pregnant, her attitude changed towards Sarah. It could be said that maybe her attitude changed because she was forced to do something that Sarah herself could not do and succeeded. When Hagar's attitude changed towards Sarah, Sarah noticed and went and complained to Abraham. She actually blamed Abraham for the situation, although it was her idea. Now notice what Abraham said to her in verse 6. Behold, your maid is in your power. Do to her what is good in your sight. See, although Hagar had been given to Abraham to be his concubine, she was still viewed as being the slave of Sarah. Sarah appears to have revoked Hagar's concubine status after she became pregnant. Sarah began to treat Hagar harshly to the point that Hagar ran away. When you read the rest of the chapter, you will find that an angel of the Lord found her and told her to return to Sarah and submit to her. The angel also told her that she would have many descendants, and she was to name her son Ishmael. Hagar returned to Sarah, and she bore a son and named him Ishmael. After her child was born, she did not reject her son, even though he was not conceived out of love. We need to understand this, you see, my brothers and sisters. Hagar's life changed after she had been given to Abraham to bear his children for Sarah. Hagar was a virgin and was part of a dowry that the Pharaoh of Egypt had given to Sarah when he mistakenly thought he would make her one of his wives. But because she had now conceived and delivered a son on behalf of another, it would have been easy for her to see her son as a reminder of what she had gone through. And now her life would forever be changed. There was a chance that no other man would want her now that she had been with another man. Every time she looked at her son, she would remember what she had been through. However, this was not her response. She became a mother, and she loved her son. In Genesis chapter 21, Sarah requested that Abraham send Hagar and Ishmael away so Ishmael would not be in competition with Isaac for his inheritance. When Hagar was driven away from Abraham's home and got to the point where she thought that her and her son would die, she separated herself from him, and she could not bear to see him die. In verse 16 of 21, she asked not to see the boy die, and then she will. You see, my brothers and sisters, these actions are not the actions of a woman who was the mother of a child that she did not love. Even though she was forced to have this child, and it forever changed the circumstances of her life, this was her child, and she loved him. So I ask you to keep this in mind as I move to mother number 2. This is the mother who stood up to King Solomon. You will find in 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 16 through 28. We find the story of 2 women who had babies within days of each other. Both mothers had given birth to sons, but one of the mothers accidentally laid on top of her baby while she was sleeping, smothering her child. When she realized what she had done, she switched her child with the woman who lived in the house with her. When the other woman woke up in the morning, she found that the baby lying next to her was dead. She initially thought that her child died, but upon looking closely at the baby, she realized that this baby was not her baby. You see, my brothers and sisters, a mother knows her child. She confronted the other woman, and the woman claimed that she had not switched the babies. Finally, they were both brought before King Solomon. I want you to understand before I go any farther what the rules were in that day when you were in the presence of a king. You remember the story of Queen Esther as recorded in the book of Esther. Remember when she went to the king without being summoned and how she had to wait to be acknowledged. See, during those days when you were in the king's presence, you did not speak to the king without permission or it could cost you your life. Amen. Well, when the two mothers stood before King Solomon, one of the mothers broke protocol. See, after both women pled the case, and there was no way to determine who was telling the truth, Solomon made a decision. You see, some say possession is half the battle towards proven ownership, but not in this case. Although one woman had the baby's real mother was determined to have her child. Let's pick the story up in verse 24. The king said, "Get me the sword." So they brought his sword before the king. The king said, "Divide the living child in two and give half to one woman and half to the other." Then the woman whose child was the living one spoke to the king. For she was deeply stirred over her son and said, "Oh, my lord, give her the living child and by no means kill him." But the other said, "He shall be neither mine nor yours. Divide him." The king said, "Give the first woman the living child and by no means kill him because she is the mother." You see, Solomon made a decision that because both women claimed that the child as theirs was their own, that was their own, that the child should be divided equally between the two women. When the decision was announced, the mother of the child began deeply stirred over her son. And she spoke up to the king out of order. She was no longer concerned about the protocol. She was no longer concerned about her son. She was no longer concerned about the protocol. She was only concerned about her son. She was not concerned about being killed for speaking to the king. She was only concerned about saving the life of her son. She spoke up and told the king to give the baby to the other woman. The other woman proved that she was not the mother when she told the king that he should divide the baby between both of them. At this point, Solomon knew who the baby's mother was, and he returned the child to his rightful mother. See, it would be hard to recognize a mother who would be willing to allow her child to be killed because another woman claimed the child was hers. See, this story contrasts two mothers, one who loved her child and one who would rather see a baby killed versus being part of the child's life even though she was not the child's mother. I don't know a mother who could stand by and watch a baby be killed. Even if that baby was not hers, I think about what the baby's life would have been like with a mother like that. But as we live and breathe today, we see mothers like that. The mother of the child stood before Solomon and heard him speak the words to divide her son. She quickly perceived what that would mean. If she would allow Solomon to divide her baby, she would lose her child forever. If she allowed this woman to have her child, at least her child would be alive. And she would be able to watch him grow and possibly have a relationship with him. See, there would always be a chance later that the child would come to know who his real mother was. I'm not sure if this is what the mother was thinking, but I believe that she was thinking about saving the life of her child. She was willing to put her life on the line and speak out to the king to save her child. If you have or have had a mother who stood up for your life, you know what I'm talking about. See, I've shared with you these two stories to stress this point. Delivering a baby into this world makes you a birth mother, but it is what you do afterward that determines if you are a good mother. Each one of these mothers is an example of mothers today. Yes, there are mothers who love their children and would give their lives for them. And likewise, there are mothers who not only do not care about their children, but see them as a means to an end, whatever that end is. See, these mothers will not put their lives on the line for their children, and their children are sometimes viewed as amendments to the lifestyle they wish to live. See, Proverbs, but when you find that good mother, Proverbs 31:28 says, her children rise up and bless her.
Well,
See, if you have a good mother who is still living, bless her today. Don't wait until tomorrow. And if your mother has gone on to glory, bless her also by looking up to the heavens and telling her thanks. See, there are many mothers who have passed through this world. Some were good and some were not. Some people measure the goodness of a mother based on whether or not the mother did things for them as they grew up under her guidance. You see, my brothers and sisters, do not ask a child or a teenager if they have a good mother, because their frontal lobes are not fully developed and they may not fully understand the question. You see, sometimes you have to experience things in life before you really understand what it means to have a good mother. You see, sometimes we do not appreciate them when we are living with them. It comes later when we have time to reflect. So let me share a few thoughts on a good mother. See, if you have or have had a mother who stopped you from leaving the house for school with clothes on that were so tight and revealing and was not made with less than a half yard of fabric and barely covered you, you ought to bless her. You see, your mother cared about the image you presented about yourself when your frontal lobe was not developed enough for you to know how to dress. She understood the doors that could be opened or closed based on how you looked, and she wanted you to know that early in life versus learning it later. If you think I'm wrong, go to the mall and just walk around and see what the kids are wearing these days. By the way, while you are looking at them, look at the adults who are giving them their example. See, if you have or had a mother who stayed home and was there for you when you got home from school and was present at all your school functions, you ought to bless her and give God all the praise. But see, she made a conscious investment in you, and that investment kept you off the streets, out of jail, and alive today to hear this message. If you have or had a mother who washed your mouth out with soap when you actually used some words in her house, because you forgot where you were, you ought to bless her. You see, you have or had a mother who was willing to teach you early how to converse using a proper language skills. See, if you have or had a mother who, God forbid, had to slap the taste out of your mouth because you didn't learn from the soap, you ought to bless her and give God the praise. You see, your mother believed that sometimes a physical touch of love drove out a lot of stupidity. If you not believe me, look around at some parents who have some children living in their homes and they are afraid of them. You see, my parents were not afraid of us. My teachers were not afraid of us. The old members of the church were not afraid of us. You understand what I'm saying? They were not afraid of us because we were actually afraid of them. Amen. See, if you have or had a mother who took you to church and would not let you fall asleep during service, she made you go to Sunday school, she made you sing in the choir, she made you participate in the youth group, she even made you learn the speeches for the Easter and the Christmas program, you ought to bless her and give God the praise. If she had not done those things today, you might not be sitting here today. If you have or had a mother who prayed for you because she had you on your mind, so she took some time to pray for you, you ought to bless her and thank her for those many prayers that she prayed for you while you were too unaware to pray for yourself. See, many angels have been dispatched from heaven because of the prayers of mothers. As I close, I ask that you stand and give God all the praise for the mother of mother figures who so influenced your life. That you accepted Christ as your personal Savior and will be able to live in eternity with them and all is said on this side of the earth. Happy Mother's Day. God bless y'all. Amen.